So when I first came into Estia, there was a really big underinvestment in technology. There were no projects running, and I was asked to really look at what areas we needed to invest in. And so I spent a lot of time talking to the business and getting a whole big list of a whole big list of initiatives. And then I was thinking, well, how am I going to decide what's most important? So actually at that time, I sat down with the person who was the CEO of the organisation at that stage, and I said, what are the things that are most important to us as a business? And we came up with the first version of that, which is a little bit different than what the current version looks like today.
Yeah.
And then each time, sort of, we usually use it each year. I'm actually in the middle of using it again at the moment because we've got new owners. We've actually moved from becoming ASX listed to private equity.
Yeah.
And so I'm now going through the process of under a new strategy and new ownership, what are the things we want to invest in? And so it's tweaked again slightly. But yeah, every time it's probably just discussions with my fellow execs about what's important and making sure we've got the weighting on those, because the weighting does change a bit year to year.
Okay, and what constitutes the weight? Can you give me some feeling of some of the things that you assess that something's higher weight than another weight?
Yeah, so the weighting, it has to add up to 100%. So
Yes, yeah.
Basically there's a limit. So if everything's kind of equal priority, we've got 5 factors, so everything's 20%. But if we think, for instance, we want to focus on customer experience, or for us, aged care workforce has been challenging. And so workforce was a real priority over the last couple of years. And so that was a higher weighting in the past. Now, because we're moving into wanting sort of more scalability in our business, that's driving a higher priority. I guess what I'm seeing is more driving around trialing and piloting technology before we do full rollouts, because what I'm being asked for is to prove the technology works.
Yeah.
And actually it often doesn't. So we've been doing a pilot of some interesting technology, which obviously privacy of a resident in their personal spaces is really important. And so and falls in aged care is really important to, a fall is a really critical event. And so we've been trialling some technology to automatically detect falls and automatically detect a resident getting out of bed when really they need support to get out of bed, or a resident who's in an area for too long and might need some assistance. So trying to get really some alerting happening of where we need to provide a level of care. And the technology promised a lot. And at the moment, we've just found ongoing problems with trying to tweak it to get it right in a real environment where there's lots of people coming in and out of a place and equipment moving. And so I think because I'm in a business that's not technology driven, it's more people driven, there is that really conservative approach. Interestingly, in aged care, we have a CIO forum that we meet on a regular basis, and the CIOs share a lot.
Yeah.
And so it's actually a really good forum to help understand where others are focusing and what their challenges are. So there's a lot of sharing in aged care, more so than any other industry that I've worked in the past. I think for us, what we do is we obviously create our annual strategy, and we work towards achieving our strategy. It's probably a bit more than annual. It's probably a multi-year strategy, but we tweak it every year because the business continues to change every year.
Yeah.
And then we sort of check in regularly on that strategy to make sure we're delivering against it. And then I think the other things I probably focus on is a lot on developing my team. I really want to focus on making sure my team has a really good understanding of our business. And we have people come from our different areas of our business to talk to the team every couple of months, so people can get different perspectives on different areas of the business. We spend a lot of time doing retrospectives about what's working and what's not working. It's a regularly scheduled event in our calendar. So we're making sure we're continuously improving. And I think that curiosity thing that you talked about before, building that culture of curiosity so people are out there thinking about different ways to do things is the other thing we think about.